I'd love to do paper. You got a copy of the old? Well, I think I've got a copy of the old.
Okay.
I'll do.
Do you want me to email you?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be easier.
All right, perfect. How are you? Ready to move on. Welcome, everyone, to the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the College of the Sequoias Community College District. Today is Monday, March 9th, 2026. At this time, I'd like to invite everyone to join me in the flag salute. Ready, salute. It's an exciting meeting, so I jumped in. We don't have any closed session reportable action items, but before we get started into public comments, I did want to share that before tonight's staff report, we have a change in the agenda. I'm proposing that we table item 14 and then agree to a date in the next week or two, and I'll share some dates to convene in a special board meeting for consideration of the board. And at that time, we'll have some follow-up questions of our candidates and take action on a provisional appointment. So at this time, I will entertain a motion and a second.
I move to accept the motion as proposed by the president.
I have a motion. Do I have a second to table item 14 from today's agenda?
I'll second.
I have a motion from trustee Lane and a second from trustee Nunes. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay, motion carries. At this, so there are some potential dates to consider. The dates are Monday, March 16th, March 17th, March 18th, all at 5 p.m. And then the following week, which would be Monday, March 23rd, March 24th, March 25th, at 5 p.m. as well.
I would propose that we have our meeting before our joint session with the VUST. That way the new trustee is able to sit in, weigh in, especially since it will be part of the district that he will be representing.
What's the date of that?
What is the date of the
I think
VUST
it's
joint meeting?
April 23rd or 24th? No, it's in April.
April 9th.
April 9th, yeah. Oh, the
Okay,
six
so
dates we
from-
have are the next two Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. Either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week or the
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of the following week.
I can do Monday next week, at the same time.
I would like to do it as soon as possible, obviously, and Monday does not work for me, I don't think. I could do it on Tuesday, what's that, the 17th?
Yeah.
I could do it Tuesday, the 17th.
Yeah, 17.
5:30?
I think he proposed 5, but whatever.
5 o'clock?
whatever.
Does 5:30 work better for you, trustee
Yes.
Diaz?
5:30 works better.
I think,
Yeah, that's perfect with me.
so there's no action, it's just we're going to now consider that and send it out for notice then?
I missed that. Did Sherman just pop off? It was good for him?
Yeah. So consideration of March 17th, 5:30 then, Dr. Calvin?
Yes, that works for Kenneth and I. It works for the trustees.
That'd be here.
Yes.
Any objection from our four candidates? They're in the room here. Tuesday, 5:30, Tuesday, 5:30, I'm Manny. A week from tomorrow, yeah, 17th, 5:30. That would work?
Yeah.
Okay. It'll all be an open session again. Okay, Kenneth and I will notice that, well, later on this week, but everybody kind of pencil that in.
Okay. Moving on to item 5, public comment. Per board policy 2350, any person may address the board at this time, either on an agenda item or other matters of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board. A maximum of 5 minutes is allowed for each speaker, with a maximum time of 15 minutes per item, unless otherwise extended by the board. So at this time, I'd like to invite anyone who would like to make public comments concerning items on the agenda. Seeing none, I'd like to invite anyone who'd like to make public comments concerning.
Whoa.
You wanted to make on the agenda?
Yes, sir.
I apologize.
No, it's okay. Good evening, Board President Macareno, honorable members of the board, and Superintendent President Dr. Calvin, members of the gallery. I want to first acknowledge and appreciate the decision not to proceed with professional appointment action this evening. Taking additional time before making an appointment to a board vacancy is, in my view, a thoughtful and prudent step, particularly given the importance of public trust in this process. At the same time, because the information item involving prospective candidates delivering statements of interest remains on tonight's agenda, I would respectfully note that some of the same transparency concerns that were raised by faculty leaders today still remain relevant. Although no formal appointment vote will occur tonight, candidate presentations are still part of the same process. These presentations are not simply informational, as reflected on the agenda. They are directly connected to the future board decisions regarding who may ultimately be appointed to fill the vacancy. For that reason, the Brown Act's emphasis on clear public notice remains important here, particularly under Government Code Section 54954.2A1, which requires agendas to clearly describe the business before the legislative body so that the public understands the nature of what is being considered. My additional concern is that based on the previous established timeline, board members appear to have already received candidate information sheets. If those writings were distributed to the majority of the board in connection with this continuing appointment process, the Government Code section is pretty clear. It requires that those same writings be made available for public inspection at the time they were distributed to the board members. Even if no action is taken tonight, which it's not, hopefully, candidate statements delivering publicly while supporting materials remain unavailable to the public create an unlevel access of information. Board members may already possess written information that the public has not had the same opportunity to review. I recognize the strongest argument that the board could make in this, that tonight's items purely informational and that no deliberate or collective decision will occur tonight. And that may be the board's intent. And I appreciate the distinction if that's the case. However, because these presentations are clearly part of a continuing appointment process, transparency is strongest when the public has access to the same candidate materials that the board has already received. For that reason, I respectfully encourage the board, before this process moves forward further, to make candidate names and submitted materials publicly available so that future public participation occurs with the same informational foundation available to the board. That would strengthen both transparency and confidence in the fairness of the appointment process. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Arzola. If you choose, you can pass those out right there. They are available right in front of you.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else would like to make public comments concerning items on the agenda? No. Anyone else like to make public comments concerning items not on the agenda? Okay. Moving on to board and executive staff reports, I'd like to invite our student trustee report from Ms. Martinez.
So for our Tulare highlights, we have that on March 4th, COS Tulare hosted Midterm Madness, where students could plant flower seeds in a pot and get free goodies and mental health tips from the health center, as well as enjoy a bake sale from the Equine Club while painting on horses. And then on March 17th, CTE is hosting its 4th annual Ag and Trades Job Fair event, where hundreds of COS students will have the opportunity to meet employers and land job opportunities, internships, and more. This is a huge event that showcases how industry partners can utilize our students' talents and skills for the local workforce. Our Visalia highlights this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. Visalia Student Senate is collaborating with the Health Center, and we will host a midterm de-stress event that is Inside Out theme, where students can pet an animal, throw an inflatable hatchet, play with kinetic sand, and we have a couple of other stations to de-stress during midterms that go along with the characters in Inside Out. And then for an all-campus highlight on March 17th, 18th, and 20th, COS will host a Grad Fest on all 3 campuses. Students will purchase their cap and gown and register for commencement. We will register over 1,000 students that week, with 1,300 expected at this year's commencement. Thank you.
Questions for our student trustee? Okay, next is board member reports, but if I may, I'd like to make a small adjustment to the order of our, unless there's any objections, in order to our board member reports, and I'd like to go first, if that's okay. I'd like to present this plaque to our outgoing trustee. And so it reads, Sequoia Community College District in grateful recognition of 20 years of service on the Board of Trustees, presented to Greg Sherman, 2006 to 2026, for your steadfast leadership and enduring commitment to students and community. We thank you for your years of service.
Thank you. I just say I apologize to the rest of the board members putting you through this, so. But I felt like 20 years was enough, time to move on, so, and to bring somebody else into this position. So, and I've enjoyed my 20 years. I thank the public for electing me 5 times. Yeah. That's pretty good. And I just didn't want to run it again one more time. So even though, who knows whether you get elected or not, but yeah, you know, the college has changed a lot in my 20 years. You know, we have Hanford, Tulare. We're going to have the center for the 4-year school. All of that, and we're, thanks to the voters primarily here in Visalia that supported that. We're the ones paying the taxes for that. So anyway, it's been fun. It's been a lot of work, and I've enjoyed my time on the board, and I certainly will continue to support the college. So.
Thank you, Mr. Sherman. We've worked together, I think, the longest out of anybody here, and I just want to thank you for being a wonderful, wonderful ambassador for the College of the Sequoias. Most of you know that Greg is out in the community a lot, just different business dealings and other volunteer boards, and always singing the praises of the College of the Sequoias, always putting students and employees in the long-term viability of the college first. My interim year in 2011-12 was a difficult year for our entire system, and I don't think it was good fortune that put me in this seat that year, and you were serving your first year as the board president that year, and it was tough, and I think we bonded in misery more than anything. And it's funny how much we have changed and how much more stable fiscally and otherwise we've become. At that time, we were more worried about staying fiscally solvent, paying the flipping light bill. And we put all those kind of concerns in the rearview mirror and done a myriad of things to improve the lives of our students and our employees and improve the college for decades to come for this community. And you've been right there in the thick of things. So thank you, Greg, for everything that you've meant to the College of the Sequoias. We appreciate you, and we'll never forget your contributions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to invite Trustee Nunes for report, please.
Okay, just a couple quick things, but first, Greg, so you can go home tonight and tell your lovely wife, says, look, my 20 years of service, all I got was this crazy plaque. I had the pleasure of attending the Farm Ops meeting a couple of weeks ago, and boy, had I forgotten what it's like to get up for 7 o'clock meetings. So that makes me appreciate more the fact that all those willing folks from the Tulare area, for the most part, are there month after month after month, doing great work for the COS campus in general and the farm in particular. So I've been kind of covering for President Calvin as he's still doing his rehab on his knee. So
You make one
I'll do
meeting-
my best to.
You make one meeting
I'll
in a
do my
decade,
best
and now
to
you're
fill
covering for
your
me?
shoes.
Okay.
I reclaim my time, please. So I look forward to, hopefully, I'm on daylight savings time and we'll make the meeting tomorrow. So I know a lot of you aren't necessarily interested in this, but it's kind of something that's close to my heart because I'm a sports fan in general and basketball in particular. So I don't want to steal your thunder on this because I'm
No,
sure.
steal it.
Because I'm
You're on
sure
a
you're
roll.
going to cover it, but I'm sure a lot of you may know that College of Sequoias is hosting the Elite Eight, the finals for state basketball for both men and women at the Thomas Porter Fieldhouse. Thank you. And that's going to start Thursday, and there's games that run just about all day. And into
1,
the
3, 5,
evening.
and
So,
7 for the women on Thursday.
I'll let you fill in all the blanks.
Okay, I'll fill in the details. You got it.
So thank you, and thank you all for being here.
I would say just with regard, maybe following on to Trustee Nunes's comments there, I had the pleasure of seeing the girls in the third round barely go down. They were in it the whole game, which was awesome. I could just, I was proud, absolutely, at the end of the game. They played hard. They lost well, to the extent that makes any sense. They were very gracious. No whiners and nobody, refusing to shake hands or anything like that. I was extremely proud of the coaching staff and the women that played their hearts out. So, yeah, that's kudos to them.
Thank you very much. Trustee Diaz.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So I would like to thank Chef Stephanie, forgot to get her last name, for a cooking masterclass I attended 1 Sunday ago, yes. So I had the wonderful opportunity to attend a pasta making class with 15 other classmates, and we were treated to an amazing mocktail, okay, guys? Mocktail. While we learned to make a ravioli and lava cake. And I would also like to thank my kitchen partner, Ia. She's a math professor for future educators, for her patience with me. I saw her side-eye me a few times, so. And also, I would like to say that I look forward to the joint meeting scheduled for later this month with the City of Tulare and Tulare Joint Union High School, and in April with the City of Visalia and VUSD. Those are all very exciting, and hopefully maybe we can do something similar with the cities of Lindsay and Corcoran in the future.
Very good. Well, thank you very much. The only other final comment I'd like to make, Trustee Sherman, is I know that we don't serve on this board for the accolades, the acknowledgement, but I hope that that plaque is shared with your family who lended you to us, but also an inspiration for your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren to see something that you dedicated your life to do to help students. And so it's a small appreciation of the many years that you've served, but I just want to thank you again.
Thank you again.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Foster to the foundation report.
Good evening, trustees. I just have a quick report for you. But first, I would like to also thank Trustee Sherman for not only his service on this board, but his service at the COS Foundation Board many years ago. Thank you so much for all that time that you served preceding coming on to the Board of Trustees. I have an exciting announcement to make, and I just stole my own thunder, but to let you know that the COS Foundation has been participating in what is called the Finish Line Scholars with 32 other colleges in the California Community College system. It's thanks to a record $100 million gift pledge from the J. Pritzker Foundation, $5 million for 20 years. So each year, $5 million is distributed to those 32 schools, plus some little admin. So we get $150,000. We've been getting that for for 5 years now. And this is going to be our 6th year. But we learned a couple of weeks ago that before this next round of funding gets distributed, the Pritzkers didn't want to change their funding amount, but they wanted to adjust the number of schools that were participating. So that was, we could get 0 or we could get some number greater. And we found out just last week that not only are we getting our $150,000, but we in effect are getting it doubled. So we are now receiving, we will be receiving effective immediately $300,000 a year from the Foundation for California Community Colleges, which kind of gets the block grant from the J. Pritzker Foundation, distributes to us. $150,000 a year more for the Finish Line Scholars program that provides $4,000 scholarships, $8,000 scholarships, and some emergency funding for students in certain hardship cases. Is just amazing. $150,000 equates to about 22% more scholarship funding to our scholarship program here at the College of Sequoia. So we're really excited that our stewardship paid off and that we were not one of the schools that were cut in that situation. Also, I just want to remind you that on Thursday, March 26th at 5:30 in the COS Porter Fieldhouse, we will have our Hall of Fame, and we will be inducting we'll be inducting 3 honorees, Juan Guerrero, Tina Macedo, and Craig Bebeda. Again, that's Thursday, March 26th at 5:30 p.m. I hope you all can make it. Thank you.
I do have a quick question, if I may, Mr. Foster. With the amount doubling, do you foresee the scholarship recipients doubling, or do you think you might adjust how you, the additional 150,000, how many more scholarships you will?
Thank you. I have heard no communication about how our program needs to be adjusted in any way. And so my presumption is that I will be awarding, in effect, double the number. I may not do double the number of $8,000 awardees and do just proportionately more $4,000 awardees. And I'm not exactly sure how the allowance percentage of that award gets to be emergency funding. So I don't know if I'll be doubling that as well. I'm sure that will come up in the actual letter that we receive. I couldn't wait to tell you folks about that. Details to follow, but I know that there was plenty of community colleges that were trying to give a little bit to everybody. And the way the foundation was administering it, they really wanted you to track these students and measure their performance and report on those performances. And I don't know how you do that when you're giving $500 to 300 people.
Because the concept is to identify students that have the momentum to get across the finish line.
Yes, the
and
last
graduate.
12 units, or I should say 12 months of attendance, so last
So you're
year.
identifying students that have shown some promise but have
Yes.
some challenges.
Yes, sir.
And this money helps get them through that final year of community college and graduation.
Precisely.
Any other question for Mr. Foster? Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
Next, Dr. Calvin, accreditation report.
I don't have an accreditation report other than just to reiterate for about the fifth time how much I appreciate staff, faculty, administration for the good work on the 2025 accreditation process. We did receive a full 8-year renewal to go along with our full 7-year renewal back in 2018. Not an easy thing to do. It gets tougher and tougher with over 100 standards that we need to show compliance with. So thank you to everyone involved in that process, especially our co-chair, Dr. Sarah Harris, for leading the accreditation work group that kind of shepherded the whole process for us. And I think in the future, we can probably put Dr. Wilcoxon's name in here, as he is the accreditation liaison officer. I filled in for a little while, but I'm getting into the deep waters now, so I can excuse myself. So, and if I may, I'll just roll into the superintendent president's report. It occurred to me that we do have a very, very busy March, and so I just wanted to kind of hit some of these items, and then I've just passed out a calendar for all of you. Not all of these are required for board members, but I know a number of you take part in these. But as Trustee Nunes pointed out, this Thursday through, that should say Thursday through Sunday, we are hosting the 3C2A State Elite 8 basketball finals in the Porter Fieldhouse. The women are first off. They go 1, 3, 5, and 7 on Thursday. On Friday, the men go 1, 3, 5, and 7. And on Saturday, there'll be 2 women's semifinals, 1 and 3, and then 2 men semifinals, 5 and 7. And then on Sunday, we'll have the finals for both, and I think they're 1 and 3:30, but we can verify that. That'll all take place this week in the Porter Fieldhouse. As was mentioned earlier, we do have a board retreat at Fresno Pacific at the end of this week, Friday the 13th. That's scary, but it is what it is. We'll start that at 8:30 and finish by 4. On that same day, and this is where we're kind of a little bit worried about the traffic, with the basketball tournament going on and this event, which is the Tulare County Office of Ed College and Career Expo in the Visalia Quad. If you've been here, we have about 1,000 high school students that come on campus and compete in various academic and career-related activities and contests, culminating in an award ceremony in early afternoon. It should be a lot of fun, as long as we can kind of schedule the bus arrivals with the basketball and all that. I'm sure that we're on it. Starting also this weekend is a 2-week, what do they call it when theaters, not premiere, but I'll just say it, a 2-week premiere of Cinderella in our theater. We'll go Thursday, Friday, Saturday of this week, Cinderella, and then come back and do the same thing again next week. If you're going to go, I'd recommend getting your tickets ASAP, because they are, from Anastasia and Beauty and the Beast, that we do a pretty good Disney theater production, and so those tickets are going fast. Again, that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday of this week, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday of the following week. Tim mentioned the Hall of Fame dinner and celebration in Porter Fieldhouse on Thursday, the 26th. The following Monday is our joint board meeting with the City of Tulare and Tulare High School District. That's in the council chamber at the Tulare Library. That'll start at 5:30. A couple of weeks later, actually maybe less than 2 weeks later, Thursday, the 9th of April, we'll have a joint board meeting with the City of Visalia and Visalia Unified School District. That'll be held at Valley Strong Ballpark. 5 p.m. is dinner, and I think they're going to feed us ballpark hot dogs. So if that's not necessarily your thing, maybe stop for dinner ahead of time, because they did warn us. They're having ballpark hot dogs, probably hamburgers, and then a 6 p.m. Meeting there. They've got a nice new facility at the ballpark they want to show off. Our regularly scheduled board meeting will be on the 13th of April, and then we've got a groundbreaking ceremony for the University Center. And Byron's got some news on bid openings for that, but we're going to do a groundbreaking ceremony on Thursday, the 23rd of April. That'll be in the morning from 10 to 11 a.m. The Fresno State President, as well as Provost and staff, will be down here to join us as well. So, and then now we're going to squeeze in another special board meeting. So you've got a busy 5 or 6 weeks here, board members. Not to scare off our candidates. It's not normally this busy, I promise, but we've got a busy next month or so. End of my report.
Any questions for Dr. Calvin?
I just want to say I plan on attending that when they open the center. I plan on being here for that.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you, Greg.
Okay, moving on to item 7, reports. Dr. Zola, I see you. I'd like to invite you to come
I'm
up
back.
and
My
share
official
your academic senate president's report.
position. Thank you, Board President Macareno, members of the board. Thank you, Dr. Calvin. Just real quick report, the Academic Senate has found a way forward with our constitutional crisis. And in order to ensure that we elect a new slate of leaders for the Academic Senate, we voted to suspend a bylaw that required the elections to be held in the month of February. And we will be presenting a slate of, we hope, a slate of candidates for the 5 offices of the Academic Senate. And yes, I am holding strong to my word, y'all. I am not coming back as Academic Senate President. So there will be hopefully a new slate of leaders, and looking forward to seeing them, seeing who steps up. And that's it for the Academic Senate.
Thank you, Dr. Zola. I hope you mentor the next leadership and give them guidance. We appreciate the time that you've served as the president of the Academic Senate.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And yes, I will offer my time to provide mentorship for whoever steps up. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Redden, Costa President's report and update.
Thank you. I don't really have a report. I do just want to say I really appreciate the board and Dr. Calvin acknowledging the importance of the public input for the provisional board appointment. And I also just want to say I do really support the next 2 reports from CSA and CASAFA that are coming next. Thank you.
With that, I'd like to invite Ms. Kane for a CSEA President's report.
Good evening. First, I did want to go ahead and start by thanking Trustee Sherman for his years of service. That is a long time to be helping the college. I can't even imagine what you've seen and gone through in those years, so thank you for your service, and I'm sure we'll still continue to see you around.
Thank you.
And just, I also want to bring up, I apologize for the late notice. This is who I am as a person, thank the ADHD. But PACE Service Awards will be this Wednesday, March 11th at 11:30 here on the Visalia campus in Sequoia 1. We will be celebrating a combined 430 years of service for 43 classified and confidential staff members, including 3 facility staff members that have each been with COS for 25 years. We will be serving cake and punch for our 100th birthday party theme, and we would love to see everyone there, including those of you in the audience. You're all welcome. And if you would like to save the date for the end of year luncheon, when the Giant of the Year awards are given, that is scheduled for Friday, May 8th at 11:30. You get a little more notice for that one. Next, we wanted to voice support for the 2 future agenda items that were listed on today's agenda at the end. Issuing proclamations for Black History Month, Women's History Month, and LGBTQ+ History Month would show our community members, students, and employees who are members of those groups that they are valued and celebrated in our district, particularly in lights of events with VUSD in the last month and our own town's history with minority communities. I think a deliberate and intentional celebration of Black culture, women, and members of the LGBTQ+ spectrum helps to emphasize that COS is a safe place for anyone to try to improve their lives and make a better way for themselves. We also support having a CASAFA presentation on providing health benefits for part-time faculty. If the board is to make an educated and fair decision on whether or not to consider taking advantage of the state program to provide health insurance to adjunct instructors at no cost to the district, like any other responsible decision, it is critical to get information from all sources and sides of the argument, not just the one that gets a private audience with you in a closed session every month. As publicly elected officials, you have a responsibility to hear out all constituent groups, and I hope to see that responsibility met when the time comes to vote on that item. Next, last September, some of you may remember several news outlets across the valley sharing a similar headline. Construction company CEO arrested for amassing real estate empire through $4 million in fraudulently obtained COVID-19 relief funds. This next chunk is from the DOJ website. According to federal court documents, between April and June 2020, Joey Wayne Mackey allegedly submitted fraudulent PPP loan applications for 3 of his companies. Forcum Mackey Construction Incorporated, the company whose bid you are expected to accept tonight, as well as 2 other businesses he owns. All 3 of these applications allegedly contained fraudulent numbers of employees and monthly payroll cost calculations, which caused a bank to disperse $4,082,550 in funds it otherwise would not have given. Over the following months, Mackey allegedly then laundered those loan funds through fraudulent payroll payments to accounts he owned in the name of his family members, including his minor children, then pulled the funds out of those accounts to buy revenue-generating real estate acquisitions, such as office parks and luxury apartment complexes, from which he enriched himself further through rent payments from tenants. If convicted, Mackey faces a penalty of 30 years in prison and a $1 million fine. Now, when this news first broke, please know that the employees of this district were eyeing those large Forcum Mackey signs all over campus and discussing how it looked for the college to be so involved with an organization in the news that way. And I have no doubts that the public felt the same way. And I have unfortunately heard some in district's administration characterize this situation as a good guy that just made a mistake, because who of us hasn't applied for millions of dollars in loans on accident? If true, these allegations don't amount to a single mistake that any of us could make. That's 4 years of intentional criminal enterprise at the expense of taxpayers to make an already wealthy man even wealthier. I understand and fully support the district's obligation as a steward of public funds to utilize those funds responsibly and without unnecessary expenditure. We wonder, however, how responsible it is as a public institution to continue to perpetuate a business relationship with and enrich a company whose CEO is under trial for using that same company to defraud the government and embezzle millions in public funds. Next. When I came on as chapter president in 2023, CSEA was made aware of some potentially problematic short-term employees working in the district. In our investigation of short-term employees who worked from February to July of 2024, CSEA found over 80 instances of our contract and/or California Ed Code being violated. We grieved and settled with the district, committing to improving its practices to comply with our contract and Ed Code. Fast forward to July 2025, the practices had still not been improved, and we grieved again, settling again in September of 25 with the district yet again committing to improving its practices to comply with our contract and Ed Code. It is now March 2026, and this month we have processed over 15 grievances related to illegal practices around hiring, retaining, and reporting short-term, substitute, and professional expert employees over the last 6 months. In just today's personnel report, not one of the individuals being reported as miscellaneous employees was reported before they started work as is required by Ed Code. After 2 settlements, numerous conversations with the district on this issue, as well as having brought this issue to you as a board on a couple of occasions already, CSEA can't help but feel that College of the Sequoias does not respect our contract or ed code and does not feel obligated to honor the settlement agreements we have reached. Disheartening, maddening, and frustrating are all words I would use to describe this situation. We refuse to believe that the district has no way of knowing what roles they are going to hire a month ahead, or that there is no way to track temporary employees in the days they work, or that there's no way to have managers ensure timesheets are fully and accurately filled out before they sign off and submit them as a legally binding document. Worse, when CSEA is grieving these issues and attempting to resolve them at the lowest level possible, as is the specified intent in our grievance procedures, district administration is stepping in to deny on their behalf and forcing the grievances to escalate unnecessarily. We don't know if this is an attempt to drown us in paperwork so we lose steam and give up, or if it's to give senior management the ability to unilaterally settle the disputes as they see fit, but it does not meet the spirit of our contract language, and it wastes considerable time and resources for both CSEA and the district. If this board has any respect for your staff, CSEA implores the district to immediately take an intentional and deliberate approach to rectifying the gaps in its human resource and payroll procedures and policies as concerns short-term employees. And lastly, since CSEA would like to express our sincere appreciation and gratitude for the district continuing the VTech MOU that will allow our early college liaison, Jamie Kelly, to continue her work with VTech students and to help them navigate their early college experience and transition to their desired college or university. This is an incredibly valuable resource for Visalia Unified students, and we are very grateful to have a member contributing this way to our students and our community. That's the end of my report. Any questions?
Thank you. I'd like to invite Ms. Alberti or a representative of COSAFA for the COSAFA President's Report and Update.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So, hello, I'm Charles Slatt. You guys might remember me from last week. I am the COSAFA rep, Secretary-Treasurer for our union, and I have a couple updates for us today. First, thank you guys again for the opportunity to present. The first one I'd like to highlight is the funding for qualified applicants for office hours this spring semester. Student contact and engagement is an important part of our mission to success at the college, and to continue to grow and compensate our faculty in these areas is a major goal to our part-time faculty. We are happy to report that we are able to account for nearly every applicant that was approved for their time fairly compensated. This is a hope that we continue to have going into fall 2026 and beyond. Next, I would like to comment on the board agenda item about part-time faculty insurance programs as an investigative approach for the district. As you recall, we provided the board some testimonials, some of which I shared at last month's meeting. I'm cautiously optimistic that the board will take this perspective seriously and look into the availability of participating in the Chancellor's Office program to offer, for some of our members, life-changing access to healthcare. Part of the program is something we, as an institution, we already do as a response for funding received during the challenges during the COVID-19 pandemic. We are required to send data to Chancellor's Office about our part-time faculty members through a survey facilitated by the district. We receive these results of the survey and, again, see instances where this can have an immeasurable impact on the handful of members. We had 123 faculty members participate in the survey last month, and about a third of our active faculty. Among other pieces of data, 30 members that took the survey self-identified as qualified to be part of the Chancellor's Office health insurance program. Of course, this is preliminary information, but does show a window that the impact of such a program can have for our part-time faculty. Finally, I would like to acknowledge the collaborative effort that we are currently working on in the context of streamlining a process with the district concerning paid prep time hours for our art faculty. In negotiations last year, COSAFA and the district realized that for some of our faculty, there was an undue amount of work that was required for our lab courses, and we agreed on language and a process to compensate this labor. Previously, we would have lab assistants for some of our classes, but not all departments have lab assistants, so we worked out an agreement with the district to come to a way to pay for this unpaid labor. For this semester, our art faculty attempted to institutionalize a process that can streamline these duties and implement the standards done. Out of this, we are ready to refine and adopt a process that mutually benefits our students, our faculty, and our institution. That's all I have.
Report. Moving on to the next item for information, the information, item 8, statements of interest. Statements by interested board members is Dr. Calvin, but before we get started, I just wanted to take a moment to thank the candidates that are here today who have stepped forward and acknowledge that it takes a lot to step forward and be part of a public board. It requires time, consideration, compassion. It's a large role to fill, and we want to just thank you for being here today. And with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Calvin.
Thank you, President Macalino. I appreciate that, and I echo those kudos to our 4 candidates. Tim, if I could get your help, we do have copies of the, this was just an interest form that candidates filled out, so if you'd like a copy of that, just raise your hand. I don't know if we have enough for everybody, but if you'd like a copy of that. I think I'll just invite up our candidates for their 5 minutes of introduction time in the order that we received the interest forms. And so I'll start by introducing Mr. Louis Lyons.
President
Yes,
Calvin, I would like to just clarify what the process, so that everybody here knows what we're doing today.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as Mr. Macaroni opened up the meeting, the plan here today is just to hear from the candidates themselves, their 5-minute introduction as to, they can say and do whatever they want, but they've got 5 minutes to introduce themselves to the board. And then, as you heard earlier, they'll be coming back for a special meeting where the board will have questions for them. They'll deliberate in open session, and if they so choose, the board will reach consensus and appoint a replacement for Mr. Sherman. That individual would serve through the November 2026 election, and then a little bit until that individual is seated later on in December. So about what would it be, a 8-9 month provisional appointment for the individual. But tonight is just to hear from the candidates themselves. They've each been allotted 5 minutes. Yeah, anything else that needs to, yes?
I just want to comment as well that, of course, at the next meeting that we decided, the names will be public, and today is for the statements from the candidates. But at this time, we won't be asking any questions, any follow-up questions. But the next meeting, we'll have more time dedicated specifically for public comment, questions from the board, just to give a little more time to focus on the next trustee for College of Los Goyas.
Go ahead.
Oh, so my question was, in the spirit of transparency and goodwill from this board, I just wanted to, just be clear as to, there's nothing that prohibits us from making their names public, right? And then also releasing perhaps their answers to the questions, making sure that we redact their personal information. I mean, they're already being handed out today, so.
They're handed out today, and they'll be in the notice for the special board meeting.
No dealing there.
Yes. Great.
I'd like to make a clarification. You said they'd be seated in the December board meeting. They would have to win the election in November to be seated in that.
Yeah, they'll serve until the elected official is seated in December. It may be them or it may not be, but they'll serve until someone else is seated.
Okay, and just for the candidates, please know that the question session. It won't be a grilling like maybe you've seen at a Senate confirmation hearing recently.
You didn't have to let him off the hook already.
Time to change our mind.
You can reclaim your time again.
So, Trustee Lane, anything to add? So yeah, today we'll do 5 minutes for each candidate, and then we'll do it all over again next Tuesday, unless there's any other issues with that. But next Tuesday, we'll do it all over again. Ask them, allow the board to ask the same question for all the candidates, not different questions. It'll be specific questions, so everyone has a fair opportunity. And then we'll possibly, for consideration, the board to appoint the next trustee.
Okay.
Calvin.
If there's nothing further, I'll introduce Mr. Louis Lyons.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Louis Lyons, Visalia attorney. I trust you've all had a chance to glance over my resume and letter of recommendation. I've been serving Visalia as a bankruptcy and family law practitioner for the last 14 years. I have lived and worked in Visalia nearly my whole life, with my first home being right next door to COS. And during that time, I have come to see this college grow and expand and take a greater role in the community. Because I live and work here in Ward 1, I've gotten to see firsthand the results of the great work the board has done over the years and continues to do. College of Sequoias is without a doubt one of the crown jewels of Visalia. I truly believe that. It is the place where so many of our community's professionals, workers, and athletes got their start in their education and training. The board has done so much to serve this community, and it would be my honor to be chosen as its appointee to do the same. As far as the experience that I bring, I work day in and day out in a fiduciary capacity for my clients, advocating for their best interests and analyzing their finances. I'm also active on the board of my professional association, the Central California Bankruptcy Association, acting as the board's secretary, as well as acting as the board president for my son's elementary school PTA and its school site council. The same sober, analytical mind I bring to overseeing my clients' cases, I would bring to this board and ensure the college maintains both its good fiscal health, as well as ensure that it continues to adhere to all the necessary standards to maintain its accreditation. If I become trustee for Ward 1, I shall act in the spirit of maintaining the board's legacy, of exercising careful judgment, of collegiality, and listening both to the voices of experience and listening carefully to all the facts delivered by the experts who have kept this institution in a rock-steady position before making any decision. By that same token, my door will always be open, and I will always lend an ear to listen to any community member who this college affects. I will see to it that no one ever feels that they were not listened to. I will serve with the intention of ensuring that this college remains a place where any student of any background can attain an affordable, high-quality education, and where the college's employees are the envy of their peers from other colleges for being able to work here. With that, I thank you and await your decision.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Louis. The next individual to have submitted a letter of interest was Mr. Robert Aguilar. Oh, it was.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I'll do my best to try to sum up everything in 5 minutes of 64 years on this earth. Thank you, trustees, Dr. Calvin, for this opportunity to share my interest in becoming a trustee here at COS. I returned to this community in 1973. My father, many of you may know, is Dr. Robert Aguilar. He was hired as the vice principal at Redwood High School. And we came back to this location in Visalia, and I began my educational kind of journey at Royal Oaks Elementary, then on to Divisadero, and then I graduated from Mount Whitney High School in 1980. I became a COS Giant during the 1980-1981 school year, and then I got an opportunity to play basketball. You may not think I'm a basketball player given my size, but I transferred over to Cuesta College and played a year over there. And I knew I wanted to really continue my education with my father being who he was, Dr. Aguilar. Education was very important in our family, and for me, it was something that I just knew I wanted to continue. And from there, I graduated from UCLA in 1985 with a degree in political science. And as a senior in high school, I knew I wanted to be an attorney. And I was accepted to the University of Pacific McGeorge School of Law in Sacramento. And I graduated in 1988 with a Juris Doctor, and then I returned to this community and began my time as a practicing attorney that's now in its 38th year. So afterwards, during the late 1990s and early 2000s, I was given opportunities to be on the board of directors for the Visalia Chamber of Commerce. I sat on the board of directors with the Giant Athletic Foundation. I was a board member with the Cahuilla Foundation. One of its signature accomplishments is the Sequoia Regional Cancer Center. Two good friends of mine, dear friends of mine, Michael Young and Lupe Sanchez, had a youth foundation in this community. I served on that board, and I served as the executive director with that organization. I currently sit on the Mount Whitney High School Ag Advisory Board, and my plan with my daughter now teaching at Redwood High School, and she's in the Law and Justice Academy, to return and be a part of that advisory board with the Law and Justice Academy. So I have that type of board experience, and I know the value of serving, and it's something that I take full advantage of when I have those opportunities in front of me. But in the early 2000s, I was coaching basketball at Mount Whitney High School while I was practicing law. And through the support of my wife, Melinda, I returned to school and earned a multiple subject credential through Chapman University. And in 2004, I began teaching elementary school. I was a 6th grade teacher at Mountain View, as well as a 5th grade teacher, and did that for 4 years. And from there, I was able to now work at Mount Whitney, and I was hired as a freshman college and careers teacher. I taught sophomores in world history. I taught juniors in U.S. history, and I taught seniors in econ and civics. All the while, I was running the boys basketball program, which we became very successful during that time, and it was just a joy to do so. But then an opportunity presented itself to become the assistant principal at Mount Whitney High School, and I did that for 3 years. And then another opportunity presented itself, and I became the principal at Divisadero Middle School for 4 years. And then another opportunity presented itself, and I became the principal at Mount Whitney High School for 3 years, retiring in June of 2024. And the last year and a half, I've returned to the practice of law because I kept my license active during all that time of 19 years as an educator. And now I'm serving misdemeanor defendants as a conflict counsel in Departments 11 and 12 at the Tulare County Superior Court. So my life has been in this journey of serving others. And I really believe in that value and the value of what education can present to you as opportunities. I tell my students that I'm living proof, particularly growing up in this community and being able to be the principal both at Divisadero and Mount Whitney, of what education can provide and opportunities for you. And being a principal, I understand the budget requirements and the restrictions tied to certain monies and how you spend those monies to meet academic needs, to meet the needs of your school site in terms of positive school environment, a positive school and culture, what kind of facility upgrades and what you need to spend for your facilities. And doing that for 7 years, I understand those mechanics on how to make sure that happens in the right way and how to build collaborative teams in terms of your decision making. And that you're just not hearing people, you're actually listening to what they say and making sure that you're taking all that information when you're making those decisions, because it impacts so many that you're leading and that you're serving. So I'm gonna leave you with this in terms of my idea of serving. I have a student and a former basketball player of mine who now teaches ESL students and middle school students in Fresno. And he still reaches out to me and says, hey, coach, I have these digital apps that I'm working on for my students. Will you do these apps for me and tell me what you think? Give me your feedback. So I'll get online. When he sends me the link, I'll do it as if I'm a student. And then once I complete that 20-minute, 25-minute lesson, then I'll email him back with the feedback. And then we collaborate on what he needs to do to make sure those are built even stronger for his students. So my idea is to serve, and I would be honored to come and be a trustee to serve the community of COS. So I thank you for that opportunity.
Mr. Aguilar. I should have noted this beforehand, but as we get to one minute, I'll hold up one finger, and then you heard my little music there. I'll shake my phone when we're out of time. Next, I'd like to invite up Ephraim Becerra.
Let me know when to start.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, President Calvin, board members, and audience. My name is Ephraim Becerra. I am a community advocate and also a son of COS, product of COS. I attended COS from the year 2016 all the way to 2018. And being at this campus brings back a lot of memories, good ones. I do recall a moment that was difficult and being helped by you, Mr. Calvin. Thank you. You might not remember, but I was here. I believe in service. I've done a lot in the last couple of years for the community here in Visalia. I did transfer to the university, BYU, out of state. I wanted to get the experience of what it's like to be a Californian out of state for a while. And while I was at BYU, I started an organization named Amalot. So I'm still the founder, no longer the chairman of it. And I am part of that board. I also have started one here in California. It's basically a way to make people feel safe and share their abilities with the community here in Visalia. I volunteer with many organizations like the Mexican League of Women here in Visalia, and the Chamber of Commerce also has helped me very much, a lot. I've also tried to be involved with events that are culturally focused and allowing the community to feel diverse. I also am aware, I have a bachelor's degree in social studies. I currently work for VUSD, and I'm getting a master's degree in secondary level history. Education is very important, and I understand the stewardship of what it's like to be a board member here at COS, making sure that our students here are our number one priority, right? And along with the taxpayer money being allocated correctly. It is very important to me to see it as I'm just a steward of COS. I am just a volunteer, even though it's an elected position, correct? If elected, it would be an honor to represent the city or appointed correctly. And it's gonna be some big shoes to fill, Mr. Sherman. And to me, I'm just humbled by being here. As, like I said, somebody that walked these shoes, as somebody that at one point was about to give up, if it was not for you. So definitely, for me, it's very important to try to serve, which is why I'm here today. It's very important to see myself as just a servant, another servant of Visalia. And considering also a lot of dialogue when it comes to these type of boards. There will be times where there will be disagreements amongst your peers and colleagues, and you have to try to dialogue as much as possible to get policy passed at COS. And I've had that experience with people from different cultures. It's not easy running 100 students, right, of different backgrounds from different countries around the world. And I've done that in an area, too, that is not as diverse, right, as California and Visalia is. So I'm grateful to be here, and hopefully, if considered, just by being here is an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Becerra. And I apologize for my music coming on. I tell you, you have to wonder about a superintendent that can't even run the timer right. Good thing we have Kanetha here. Thank you, Mr. Becerra. Appreciate that. Okay, our final speaker tonight is Mr. Emmanuel Manny Sanchez.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. My name is Manny Sanchez, born and raised in Lindsay, California, the youngest of 5 boys. My parents came from Puerto Rico and have spent their time in Lindsay. And actually, I had a flight scheduled tonight. I had to reschedule it because it was very important for me to be here tonight. I take this opportunity very seriously. My educational background includes a bachelor's degree in communication from Fresno State, as well as a master's degree in educational leadership from Point Loma Nazarene University. I spent nearly 2 decades serving in the K-12 public education system. I wore many hats during that time, from teacher, substitute, dean, assistant principal, and eventually principal. During that time, I worked closely with families and students to ensure that post-secondary opportunities were available and readily accessible to them. While in high school, our learners were able to not only gain those skills, but also earn college credit and access dual enrollment and CTE opportunities. Today, I serve as the Executive Director of the Lindsay Educational Foundation for Learning. We're able to mobilize scholarships, community grants, as well as partnerships to better serve our learners. Just in the last year, we've given tens of thousands of dollars in scholarships to COS students that graduated from Lindsay High School. This work continues to remind me of the financial barriers that our students face and the critical role that COS plays in advancing opportunity in our region. My connection to College of Sequoias is also personal. Early in my career, I had the opportunity to coach here at COS. During that season, just a couple days before one of our games, my oldest son, Luke, was born. He's actually here tonight. And I had to miss that game. And unfortunately, Coach Allen wasn't too happy about that. But what makes that story even more meaningful is that Luke recently committed to attending COS and playing football for Coach Mendonça. And as a father, just this moment and this experience really makes it come full circle and almost godsend. My time here at COS showed me how important connection to campus is. Programs like athletics, our visual and performing arts, as well as our campus clubs often become the places where students can learn leadership skills, where they can believe in themselves, and where they could also develop leadership. And so when students feel connected to their campus, not only is it self-gratifying for them, but it also increases their chances of finishing here at COS. As I look ahead to the future of COS, 3 priorities resonate with me. First, maintaining high-quality, affordable education. For many families in our region, access and affordability determine whether higher education is even possible. COS serves as a critical gateway for adults who are working, who are raising families, or navigating barriers that make traditional pathways difficult. When we keep education accessible and affordable, we create real opportunity for individuals and the entire community. Second, continuing to align our programs with regional workforce and industry demands. COS students, they must graduate with relevant skills and meaningful certificates, as well as credentials that align with strong careers. When students succeed in their careers, it not only changes their lives, but also strengthens our regional economy. Our responsibility is to ensure that when every student enters COS, that they see a clear and attainable path to their desired future. Third, ensuring strong student support services. As someone who personally benefited from EOP services, I firsthand know how these programs support our students. Programs like the Student Success Program, Veterans Resource Center, our LGBTQ+, as well as our HBCU. These necessary resources create opportunities for our learners and throughout our campus. One mentor, one opportunity, and one support system at a time. And so lastly, I just want to share how both my education and athletic background have shaped my leadership philosophy. And so sports have taught me that success requires integrity, preparation, trust, accountability, and teamwork. And in my opinion, a board of trustees operates in the same fashion. Thoughtful governance, collaboration, and commitment to the institution's long-term success must be priority. While we may not always agree on every issue, we must support and work alongside the admin and the COS staff to ensure that our decisions remain learner-centered. If appointed, I will bring experience in governance, fiscal responsibility, community partnerships, and a deep commitment to expanding our opportunities. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez, and to all of our candidates. Thank you. I'm sure our board feels the same way I do. I wish we had 4 positions here tonight. Very, very impressive. Thank you very, very much. You'll get a personal invitation from me either tonight or tomorrow to come back next Tuesday, and we'll do this in an action setting. And you're welcome to stay with us for the rest of the meeting, but I also know some of you have family with you. You may want to leave, and I don't want you to feel bad about that. We can pause for a moment so it's not awkward or anything like that.
Brent?
Yes, sir.
Can I say something?
I guess
I
it's your
think
last
my
meeting.
decision after hearing those 4 people was a great decision for this. I mean it. You talk about great candidates.
Pretty impressive. You're right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for
If
that.
that was a motion, I'll second it.
That was impressive. Thank you, all 4 of you, for taking the time to come visit with us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you again next Tuesday. So if you'd like to stay with us for the rest of the meeting, by all means, do so. But if you need a moment to escape, you can certainly do that as well.
If you stay all meeting, you may change your mind.
And Luke, we'll look forward to seeing you in the fall. Yeah.
All very exciting. Look forward to representation, future representation.
They're all really highly skilled.
With that, we'll move on to item 2 of information, above base resource allocation, 2025-2026. Dr. Calvin.
Thank you. I'm pinch hitting tonight for our VP of Administration, Mr. Ron Perez, recovering from a knee surgery himself. Must be something in the water this year. But you're all familiar with the above base funding process. This is the process where departments and divisions will seek one-time funding for a specific one-time thing. A new set of microscopes, some netting for the softball field, some new textbooks or what have you for our Learning Resource Center. And so the process is those requests come through the program review process. Those are pulled out and prioritized by the budget committee. If we've got enough to cover everything, great. If not, sometimes modifications can be made. And I'm excited to say that of the 13 requests that we got this year, we were able to fund 12 of them with the $300,000 that we had, to the tune of $295,000. We will roll that 4,000 and change over into next year's process, so we'll have 300,000 plus the residual left here. But then even that 13th request was from Student Services, some laptop replacements. We've got a couple other funding sources that will be able to help out there. The Student Services categorical funding as well as the IT one-time equipment funding. So all 13 of our requests this year have been fulfilled. In accordance with our resource allocation manual, I was able to receive this from the Budget Committee and share it with the District Governance Senate. They approved it. It's here for information only, so they've done the heavy lifting, and you can just sit back and know that it's been accomplished. So congratulations to the 12 that got their funding through this process, as well as the 13th that's getting it through some alternatives. But job well done to the Budget Committee for prioritizing these. And I think funding You'll get your notice of funding by the end of this month, and you'll have through the end of this fiscal year to spend it. Otherwise, you need to apply for an extension into next year's fiscal allocations. So congratulations, everybody.
Very good.
Happy to answer any questions you might have.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Calvin. Next, annual farm operations report, Dr. Walden.
Okay, here we go.
Walden, excuse me.
Congratulations, Mr. Sherman, and congratulations, but this is the last opportunity tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. for you to come to this meeting. The first thing I want to do is, this is our annual report, and it says 2025, and that's correct because it takes us all year to get to this point where I can kind of present out of where we are. I've got a couple of guests with me. First, I've got Vince Sola, who is the chair of our advisory committee, our Farm Art Advisory Committee, so we really thank him. He farms in the local area as well as some of the other folks that you'll see in one of my slides. I also want to ask Angie Campson-Cloutier to raise her hand, or she probably won't stand up. Angie is as I am the provost that also has the dean's responsibility over ag, which includes the farming operation. That means Angie Campson-Cloutier is also the admin tech, not only for the Tulare campus, but also for the dean of ag, or my responsibilities there, and does a tremendous amount of work to get us monthly to these reports, to make sure where we are, to process all the vendor applications, and I just wanted to recognize her at this meeting, and she's here for backup if I screw up. Just for those that maybe haven't, there's a lot of new people here, so some of you have seen this before, but this is the red outline is where we farm on the Tulare campus. Up at the top, you see Bardsley Avenue, down to the running south to north is Road 132, and you can see the 3 APNs that we farm, and I've got different ways of showing this. So if you go back here, you see the orange is the Tulare College Center proper, where buildings A, B, and C. Google Earth hasn't updated, so the new trades complex is in blue there. So this is a different viewpoint of that, just to give you context of buildings A, B, and C, and then where the complex does set. I've got that marked, even though it's not on that. Again, just keep giving you an idea of the, up on Bardsley, that's what we call fields 1, 2, and 3, and 4 is a little plot, so it combines with 3, 3, and 4. Off on Road 132 is fields 5 and 6, and then the back of the property, we have fields 7, 8, and 9, as well as you can see in the middle there, the smaller 2 areas are the for the horses and the cattle. There are 2 pastures there. All the way upwards is actually the Cahuilla Conservation Basin, so it's not in red. And then you can see those homes there to the east. Those are now, are not, that was, let me see, where am I at? Right there off Bardsley, there was property, and you can see right in front of the homes, and now new homes are going up in that area. So again, this is kind of old for the Farm Ops Committee, but we'll blame Google Earth on that. These are the folks, I'm going to take a little bit of different tactic. These are the folks that help us. So you can see on the left, again, Mr. Sola, who's Sola Farming, is the chair of our committee and helps make all these decisions, as well as Charlie Pitliano, Joey Oroso, Craig Bergman, Rob and Greg Fletcher are actually the farmers who farmed the ground for us. Brian Waddy from Waddy Farming, Gabe Cooper, who is from J.G. Boswell Company, Jimmy Nichols from Nichols Farms, Larry Dudo is consulting in farms and is a former, many of you know Larry, former employee of COS, and then myself. And then we also have Ag Division, some ad hoc members, and you can see those. Dr. Calvin comes oftentimes, our facility farm manager, which is a position that the faculty choose each year. We asked him to come, which combines the faculty side with the farming operations side to make sure we're supporting both. And then various other faculty members show up at different times, just depending on what's going on. So those are the folks that sit around once a month on Tuesdays.
So is it fair to say that Mr. Nunes needs to attend more than one meeting to get on that list?
I have no comment. That's up to you. I love that he comes to the one meeting. Thank you so much, Mr. Nunes. The goals of our committee, essentially, we are a farming operation, but we're maximizing, just like any farm, the net profit on that 320 acres that we farm. So we're farming it like a real farm. And we also have goals of reducing the water usage, just like with a lot of the water, the GSAs, by doing more technology when possible on water usage on our farm, efficiently using that, making good conservation decisions. Providing a cropping pattern that makes sense for our ag instructional, and then just giving ample opportunities for faculty or whatever the case might be of demonstration, implementation of technology, those types of things. So it's multi-purpose. And the farmers, Mr. Sola will tell you sometimes we probably drive him crazy as an ag instructional unit because it works differently than a farm. Oftentimes, some of the things that we need to do because of the teaching portion of what we do. I'm going to take a little bit of tactic. I think before I've just told you what the crops we farmed, but with Angie here, with Vince here, I also want to say, I mean, we are farming, and there is a lot to it. And so I'm just throwing some of these slides out, and we're not making decisions just randomly. We have a purpose of everything we do each month. So we'll have an agenda, just like you have an agenda. We have budgets. We go over decision-making kinds of things. Down at the bottom, you can see our crop year. The reason I wanted to recognize Angie is because our fiscal year goes from July to June, right? Our crop year doesn't work like that. And when I first started, we tried to do our fiscal just in the fiscal year, and it made no sense whatsoever because crop year, if I'm going to try to make a decision of whether we're making money on a particular crop or not, we have to go through crop year, which you can see depending on the crop, it'll go from about November 1 all the way to October 31st. Now what that means for Angie is that we cross fiscal years. So everybody else closes out fiscal year in July. Angie has to pull old stuff and new stuff across the fiscal year for us to have the reports that we do. And so we appreciate all the help for fiscal of getting that in that direction, but I just wanted to, again, acknowledge the work that Angie does, and I appreciate that. Some of the things that we do in those meetings that I'm talking about is, I just described why crop year versus fiscal year, but we make decisions on an annual basis based on water, based on what crops might be good this particular year. Most often we're growing corn silage and wheat silage as well as the 50 acres of almonds, but those decisions, we've gone cotton, we've done other types of crops throughout the years, and we've thought about tomatoes. Luann overrode the committee on tomatoes that particular year. I didn't want one more thing to figure out and do. But we mostly grow crops that, again, can maximize because we're also, all the student workers that are on our farm are paid out of the farm. All the students at the farm units are paid out of the farming profits that we make. So we have to make careful decisions there so those students have opportunities to be on the farm. So this is just an example. We did this, I think, January, February. I mean, no big deal, but it's trying to put together what the budgets are, the faculty, the advisory members. We talk about what it was last year, what is happening in the area, what the cost increases are, and we make a working budget. So this is an example of corn and silage. We kind of fight, cuss, and discuss at those meetings of the way things are. Luann says, I don't understand why that is that way. And they say, it'll be okay, Luann, just move on. So we end up monthly getting these budgets, and you can see we go from the working budget. It may not make total sense to you right now, working budget, and I can go down and we put in, based on all the bills we've paid, we put in the actual and what percentage of that budget. So some of those don't always align, and there's reasons for that. And that's the kind of thing I wanted to talk about. These advisory committees look at this, and these members look at this, and they make some decisions of, hey, Luann, it's okay, don't fuss at Rob and Greg, because this happened that made this particular budget go up and above and beyond where we are. So I feel really good about that, because I couldn't at one time tell you, I don't know what we're doing and why we're doing it, but when we went to this method, we can all look clearly at where we are, what decisions we're making, just like you were farming the farm yourself. So I'm one of the farmers. Other things we look at, this kind of lays out field 1 through field 7, 8, 9 in the back. The Sage Farm is the orange. In front of that is the dairy and the dairy pit. And all the blues that you see there is all the different watering systems. So again, the complex of how you get water from one side of the property to another is something that students get to experience. It's what we get to experience. Well 4 is our #1 well. We have what used to be a city well is pump 12. We have surface water down at the bottom. We have surface water up at the top. Surface water means it's coming down from the snowmelt, right? And we get so many shares of those, and I'll talk to you about that. But making decisions like that takes this advisory to make it make sense for me, and over the years, it's starting to make sense. I always tell them it rains where I'm from in Kentucky, so we don't have to worry about this, but we do here. Again, just some of the things and decisions that we're making. All of these are the Central Region Water Quality Board, the Tulare County Commissioner's Office, CVD RMP, which is, it's a monitoring group that we work with, farm service agencies. If you're a farmer, these are things that you do on a daily basis to try to, or on a monthly. You have to understand how to work with these agencies, the regulations, when we're using herbicide, when we're using pesticides, we're putting those on the field. There's very specifics on the way, what you can do, what you can't do on a daily basis, who do you report to. And I just want to recognize those as farmers. And our faculty come to learn some of this because they're also trying to implement the same kind of concepts in the classroom. And so on top of it, it's just a heck of a lot of work for a farmer to farm in California, and just these regulatory agencies are a good example of that. And it's a lot of work for me too. COS farming operation, you know, we're planning on each monthly. This happens to be corn silage. What are we doing each month? What are we doing on our farm advisory? What vendors are we using? So there's very specific. I know this sounds like, yes, any other meeting, but I just wanted to point some of those things out because it just doesn't happen. You just don't throw seed in the ground, it comes up. There's lots going on there. This is if you've heard anything about GSAs, which is our groundwater sustainability agencies. This is an example of the dashboard that we use, and this is what helps in our planning of us making decisions. Like last year, we planted a lot of single crops. We didn't double crop a lot, making decisions based on the water that we're going to get or may not get. So these dashboards, this particular dashboard is called Basin Safe. It's how to combine our surface water into our dashboard for our pumping water that we use. So again, those are some of the things. Now what you might be interested in is just, do we make any money? So I'm just showing on this particular corn silage crop. Angie, what did we have? 260, how many acres total? Where do you see it on there? 265 on corn. So we did a lot of corn this year. They would look at it in terms of the advisory monthly as we make decisions about who we're going to sell it to. Oftentimes, I think we sit around that room in Tulare and make decisions what the price points are going to be, that sort of thing, or what are we going to take, not take, who do we negotiate that with. A lot of our stuff goes to local dairymen that are local to us. But again, some of those decisions are all of those things that go in on that meeting. And And this gives you expenses, revenue, and profit loss. Again, compliments to Angie that her reports that we do monthly is what gets us to all of that. Same, fairly simple for wheat silage. If you're a farmer, you can talk about the tonnage we got from each of the crops and whether they check and make sure, is that the right tonnage? What could we have done differently? Probably nothing, but that's those decisions we made at the time. So wheat didn't make a lot, but it made some. And a couple of years ago, we had corn and prices were high and we made $400,000 on corn. So that was not a good year for dairy, but it was a good year for farmers. So I was glad I was a farmer that year. Almond trees, we have 50, if you recall, 8 years ago, made decision to put in 50 acres of almonds. And so this is the profit, we first year put that in was 2017, and I'm showing this as expenses and revenue for those particular crops. And the almond prices are coming up again, but it just continues to be a permanent crop that provides a lot of opportunity, particularly for our plant science students to be out there in those particular trees and have a different crop, whether it's integrated pest management or things that she's doing. Dr. Ferry Aby oftentimes goes out and she'll do some reporting for us. I think I have one of those. Here's my report for tomorrow. And she'll come and present what her students might have gathered about types of things that we're doing. Yes, sir.
With respect to the almonds, I suspect that the 25 crop gets harvested in late October sometime, and the payments are structured to come in not until 2026 sometime in set installments. Is that correct?
Correct. So I've got the report for tomorrow that I'll be sharing with them, just a reminder. But yeah, you got to survive a year before you're ever going to get any profit from that. So as of now, we've received an advance payment, a first payment, second payments for about $113,000 so far for this year, but we've got about 3 to 4 more payments.
So the final payment, for instance, for the 25 crop would not come in until sometime late 26?
Yeah, it's coming in now, starting in January. I got January, February.
Yeah, but would they be finalized?
No, it won't.
Not until probably October.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured.
Yeah, so we kind of, that's where you're also going over to crop years, different year, and have to figure that
I think right now
out.
we've been advanced about $1.
Yeah,
a pound,
about
I think.
$1 a pound.
Right, I think you said just 113,000.
Yeah, that was first payment, second payment. I don't think it was quite $1 a pound, but
Yeah, maybe 75 cents, 80 cents.
don't start asking him questions. He'll start shooting questions at me, and I'll never be able to remember off the top of my head. That's tomorrow. Just as something I'm proud of, we took a loan out from the district when we put in the almonds. We took some risks. There were about 3 or 4 guys in here that helped me make that presentation when we were spending about $1 million to put in the almonds. And I'm happy to say this is my last freaking payment back to you all. So I'm happy about that. Yeah. I'm going to retire first, then you can do it again. But I am proud of that because how many folks do get an opportunity, are paying back the loan that they got from the district. So I'm really proud of our farming operations crew for that. Just quickly, the livestock units, the equine units, the OH units, they're all a part of the farming operation. So we have work experience students paired with student herdsmen that are paid, that work out there. They're doing some really incredible things. Laparoscopic AI, and that is artificial insemination, not AI as you know about it, but support at the Tulare Fair, dairy growth. We just had 4 kids come back from Alberta, Canada. They won first and second, competing with 4-year universities. So there's a lot, but you've got to have all these things going on, and this just shows we keep these and meet monthly with those folks as well. I'm not expecting them to make money, but you can see in the beef units, the livestock sold $20,000 worth. So that goes as part of his budget of what it really costs to run those units. So I'm really proud of those faculty members and what they're doing. The equine unit, Just lots of success there. She just added another course. We took a course away, Jesse, but we added a course, right? And we enhanced that curriculum. So she's got a horse sale that she'll be doing. Just a tremendous amount of opportunity for horse breaking and training. Just one kid, he got an internship from Porterville, in Kentucky at the horse park, and now he's in Texas in another full-time gig in reproductive physiology, and he got those experiences right here by doing that type of work here at COS. Ornamental horticulture does a tremendous job. Mr. Fernandez has done a tremendous job of using students and finding students that need work and need work experience, and so his working budget has stayed pretty low. And his total expenses have been really low the last couple of years, but he's the purpose from those pumpkins, and those pumpkins are not just to grow pumpkins. There's purpose behind everything that man does, and the different colors that you see of those are all from classes and propagations that he's doing and teaching in his classes, not just to sell them to you all. Student Ag Experimental Farm. No oranges. Actually, I think some of those were pulled. But used by the plant science department, and I don't have a recent picture. I meant to get one in there, and I just ran out of time. But the Sage Farm, Student Ag Experimental Farm, our plant science uses for pruning and for all she's got grapes. She's got a couple of rows of grapes and all types of varieties of trees and stone fruit out there. I would love to have told you, I know you're always interested, or some of you are, of what has the solar done for our expenses, and I just don't have time. That's what I would say. We think the dollars have gone down significantly at the end of the year, but I haven't been able this year to track how much significantly that's helped. But thank you, Byron, it has helped. Just new subdivision bill, that always provides challenge as the city moves out to the farm. We always, that provides challenges, so we'll see how that works for us. And sorry that I'm so long, but hey, Mr. Sherman, you never have to listen to it again.
I always enjoy listening to you. I love that southern voice. I was married to somebody from the South, so I love that. Hey, look, I have a question. Has your water allotment increased with the fact that we're not in a drought anymore?
No, I can let you, in fact, it continues to go down. You have a transitional amount that they gave us several years ago, so that transitional amount eventually will have just the amount in that one dashboard that I showed you. So you'll have to continue to make decisions about water.
And we're still selling our rights off of the ditch water?
Well, I think here in the Visalia one you do.
Oh, that's here?
Ours are 5 shares from Farmer's Ditch that we get to use those 5 shares also.
Each share represents a certain amount of acre feet per share, and then we get to use that water when it's available at no cost to us because we own the share.
Yeah.
It's not an irrigation district, it's a water company.
So I guess it would be correct to say that there's two issues. There's the surface water and the groundwater, which is what's subject to SGMA, I guess.
The groundwater.
And so the surface water, it's obviously, having years like this year and the previous year has helped, as opposed to the 10-year drought that we were in, because we're able to glean some of that surface water that comes down the canal.
But the groundwater is all being reduced throughout the
Correct.
valley. Pretty
Correct.
much. All the groundwater is being reduced.
Correct.
But we're fortunate to be, if you go out now, that area that is the conservation district, it looks like a lake right now. So we're getting recharge from that of the groundwater, which is cool for us being at the end of the line. We're at the end of that surface irrigation line. We can't pull that water out, but we get the recharge by being close to that.
We're using surface water currently today,
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah.
There's surface water available there.
Well, thanks for your support. Yes, you bet.
Can I go back to the goals slides?
Mm-hmm.
I'll start off, I'll ping off of the water question. So how does our water management strategy position the college as a model for sustainable agriculture in the Central Valley?
So,
We are using drip irrigation on the trees, on the almonds. We are single cropping. We're not doing any very little, I shouldn't say 100% single cropping, but we're doing reduced double cropping. So raising only one crop to be sustainable to the amount of water that's allocated to the farm.
we use technology, I may have not put a slide in there, we're using, so technology like Phytech, Hotspot Ag, other technology that we're trying out and trying to figure out, so I think that's a model. We've had industry.
Moisture meters that are installed.
Moisture, yeah. We've had,
And, you know, recently, they just put up the CEMIS,
yeah, Sima Station, it's a weather station.
which
We-
is only one of, oh my gosh, only about 4 in the valley. And
Yeah.
it took us a long time to get it there, but what an opportunity for the college to have that on their facility.
So it's not just us, but you asked for the area, so everyone uses that. And those weather stations are very relevant to your local area. So the weather station in Porterville doesn't provide you the same data, ET data and so forth that's here. So we're glad to have that, which sets on the pasture ground is where it sets for us.
Let me see. What metrics are being used to evaluate whether the farm is both financially sustainable and academically valuable? I think that goes toward like the first.
Yeah, well, I think I've presented pretty clearly the metrics that we show. We're making money. We are paying for about $100,000 of instructional costs related to having the other parts of the instructional units. So those, we have the money to continue to sustain that and do that. I think in terms of, so I don't know if that's the metrics you're thinking about, but I think the financial metrics are big from there. Are we making decisions to make money on the farm? In terms of student, what was your last question? Just the metrics for student success?
I think it was more to provide value academically for students.
Yeah. Well, I've got, again, those 7 faculty. Most of them are coming on the farm. Ms. Cooper, those working budgets that I showed you, Ms. Cooper reworked those, can bring those same budgets into her classes when she's teaching ag econ or teaching ag business management or teaching computer science. She can use real world kind of situations for those kinds of things, so she uses that. Mr. Aby, when he was doing the irrigation courses, he was using every bit of the farm and the technology that we've done, utilizing his students to put those things on the farm and make recommendations that were for the farm. And then just the animal units are not as involved in the farm, except they get the dollars from that farm as well as some of the irrigation and things that we do, pasture management that we're doing on the farm. We're trying to do pasture management within that unit, and so those students get that experience.
Our entomology teacher takes the kids out
Yeah.
for almonds, mainly on the almond crop, to scout for different insects and navel orangeworm, which is a huge problem for almonds, and she takes the kids out and does those projects with them in the field. So the hands-on is what's so great about that college campus, is the hands-on experience that these kids are able to get. It's a big deal. I think it's a huge deal for the agricultural community to have this school.
We've just, with the foundation, Mr. Foster, put in a proposal for some automated type of equipment for pasture management, some automation. So we saw some things out at the farm show, the World Ag Expo, and so we had a vendor come in. I haven't even talked to you all about that, but some of that vendor work, so that automation, so opportunity for students to be exposed. Not probably every student, because we don't have an automation class specifically in ag, but an opportunity to be exposed about how technology is being integrated into our farm as best as we can through those types of things. So I don't think I have quantitative data about student success. I've got a lot of qualitative there. Yeah.
And One more question, well, I have more, but I think I'll just one more. Are we incorporating crops or practices that align with regional innovations showcased at events like the World Ag Expo, so our students are learning what the industry is moving toward?
Yeah, as much as you can and be viable. What we're doing, I just described the automation piece that we're utilizing. You can speak to that as well from a farming standpoint. Our students were all, whether they were the INT Ag students or the INT Division Industry and Technology, we spent some considerable time a couple weeks ago to get all of them out there working in some form or fashion. They were learning leadership and working with others, and then got a shift to do that. They let them out of class for a day, and then they would go and did industry interviews with local folks. So they had an opportunity to see what is going on there if they wanted to take advantage of that opportunity.
What I've really seen there, you guys as a board should be very proud of this, the instructors that are there at the college, I mean, they are some great instructors. They're really active with the students. And, you know, I'm just a farmer from the outside as I come in on these boards, but I see that how these instructors are acting and interacting with their students. And I think they're doing a fantastic job. We've really got some great instructors there.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Vince, it wasn't that long ago that we were having a hard time, you know, filling all the positions.
When I first came on, we were in that position. And as time has went on, it's really gotten, really changed there a lot.
Well, thank you for giving us time on your board item. We appreciate it, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Waldner.
Okay. Great presentation. Moving on to item 9, the consent calendar.
Ken, I expect to see you there early.
Okay.
Okay. Any of you board members
Have the
come.
coffee ready.
I'd like to invite any of the board members to come to our farm ops meeting once a month on second Tuesday of the month.
I won't be a member of the board then.
Larry Dudo brings the donuts.
I know Larry very well.
Very good. Next item, item 9, consent calendar. All items listed on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion.
I would like to pull items 5
One
and
second,
6.
sorry.
Oh,
One second,
sorry.
An item may be removed from the consent calendar at the request of any member of the Board of Trustees or any member of the audience and considered as a separate agenda item.
I would like to request to pull items 5 and 6, please.
Okay. Any other items? Item 10? At this time, I entertain a motion for approval of item 4, 7, 8, and 9.
I so move.
Second.
Motion by trustee Diaz, seconded by trustee Sherman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 5, personnel report.
So I would like to get your attention to just the second page of the, under recommend third and fourth year contract, under Marty, Eric, I don't know if the date was a typo, effective January 15, 2027?
He got a late start.
Okay,
He started mid-year.
okay, that was it, just for that.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, and then,
We have to, you going to another item?
yes, and
Well,
I
we
just
have
wanted
to-
to say, just congratulations to all the newly tenured professors and those who had their contracts.
Second, we have to approve item 5, and then we'll move on to,
Okay.
oh, I'm sorry, you're still on number item 5.
She's still congratulating people.
All right.
You're good.
I felt like, please do it again. I thought you were moving to another item.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Please repeat what you were saying.
No, just congratulations to everybody newly tenured and those who had their contracts extended.
Excellent, thank you. Any other questions?
No.
You want a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll move we approve item 5.
Yes.
And I'll second.
A motion by trustee Sherman, seconded by trustee Nunes. All in favor, say aye.
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 Wonderful. Now, item 6, trustee Diaz.
Yes. So I'd like to bring your attention to payment of bills, number 30, item number 37, iGen Consulting, on the first page. Yes. For personal and consultant services for $6,883.83. Can you share what this contract is for?
You do?
It's the convocation speaker.
Oh, that was our convocation speaker that we all loved.
I paid her. She was great.
Yeah. So that was travel.
My kids didn't really think so, but.
Yeah, that was travel and her speaking fee and so forth.
Okay. And then item number 40, Jose Trinidad Garcia Guzman, lease payment, February 2026 for $6,536. Looks like we've approved this payment in previous consent calendars, but I'm not sure what this one is for.
Bill, here? Hiding? So it's, yeah, it's kind of, I don't expect, I like the orange rainbow. Let's go. Jose Trinidad Garcia Guzman, it's a lease payment for February. I'm wondering if it's for the downtown Tulare Annex, but that's a shot in the dark. We don't have a lot of lease payments in the $5,000 to $6,000 range. That would be one, and I know that the facility was recently sold, so that might be a name that I wouldn't recognize. If we don't know, I
Because
can.
before, that was McElmoyle.
Exactly. McElmoyle's sold all three of their buildings, and we stopped leasing two of the three. We held on to the larger one to the west, if you will, to support a partnership with us and Tulare Joint Union High School District. But I don't know, I don't recognize that name either. So we can certainly get back to you, Trustee Diaz, on that, what that was for.
And then the last item, number 69, for the Tulare County Association of Governments, Travel and Conference Students. Can you share with us what conference was attended by our students, and did they enjoy it?
That I know.
Yes. Come to the mic, please.
That's our TTAG, the transient payment. So the payment we collect from the students, $9 and then $10, depending on their unit.
For our bus program.
That has to be passed through to.
So that travel and conference, it reads to you like they went somewhere?
Yes.
That's the account that it comes into. Students generate $9 or $10 per, or pay $9 or $10 per semester, depending on if they're a part-time or a full-time student. That money, it all goes to this travel and conference account, and then probably twice a year, we pay TCAG. We subsidize the program for students so that students for $9 or $10 per semester can ride anywhere in basically Tulare, Kings, and sometimes Fresno through this bus system that we put together. Really, really innovative. All community colleges should have it, but they don't. We copied ours off of Cal Poly and UC Santa Barbara's back in, 2008 or something like that, and we've won a bunch of awards with TCAG on that. That's what it's for. That's our subsidy payment.
Very good. With that, for item 6, payment of bills, entertain a motion.
I so move.
Motion by Trustee Diaz. Need a second?
I'll second.
Second by Trustee Sherman. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item 10.
Yeah,
MOU between Visalia Technical Early College High School and College of the Sequoias.
Thank you. First of all, I fully support this. My question is with regard to the liaison, since it's a one-year term of the contract, whether or not we have a longer-term obligation to the employee. Is it someone that would do other things, or do we continue to be obligated to pay that when we no longer have the reimbursement?
Dr. Waldner?
It was originally hired for 3 years and it was grant funded, so the particular agency, the something different we would look towards. But it is slated to be a position that would be laid off and staying in the grant funding.
Okay, thank you.
Move for approval of 10, item 10.
And I'll second.
Motion by trustee Lane, seconded by trustee Nunes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item 10, action, approval of appointment of members on the Measure C, Visalia Area Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. Dr. Calvin.
Oh, yeah. You just see Elizabeth's face light up at this one. Just can't get enough. So, as you know, any bond that we have here in the district needs to have a Citizens Oversight Committee represented by different subpopulations of our community. And one of those subpopulations would be a student representative. And we have asked Elizabeth Martinez if she would join us for the next 3 years or until she graduates and moves on. We're not going to pull her back from Harvard or wherever she's studying in the future, but we'd be thrilled if you would approve Elizabeth as our student rep on the Measure C Oversight Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from trustee Sherman, a second from trustee Diaz. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. Welcome to the committee.
Elizabeth, thank you very much for your
Thank you for
willingness to
having
serve
me.
on these things.
Thank you.
Item 12, change order Promenade Phase 1. Mr. Woods.
We haven't had
Well,
a change
trustee
order.
Sherman, I couldn't let you leave us without one final change order.
We haven't had one in a long time.
I know, you're
This
welcome.
reminds me of Earl Mann.
If I could just speak prior to Byron presenting on these two. Ms. Kane brought up a valid point. There have been charges brought against what I'll say is the former CEO of Forcum Mackey Construction. They did a reorganization and continue to be a viable entity, approved to do business in the state of California. And as such, we must recognize them as a low bidder. When they're a low bidder, we must recognize them. And I recognize that it puts us in a funny predicament because the general public doesn't know public construction laws or anything of that nature. So they read about a company and they see signs and they think exactly what Ms. Kane brought up is, well, why are they still doing business with that company? And the fact is that even if we wanted to, we must go with the low bid unless we can somehow discount them, and in this case, there's just not grounds to do that. So they've continued, Forcum Mackey has continued on our Phase 1, and Byron will share some news about the Phase 2 as well tonight. But public construction is you go with the lowest responsible bidder, and nothing that's occurred thus far has nullified their status as a qualified bidder in the public sector. Fair enough, Brian?
That's correct. Yeah, well
And they
stated.
did our previous building, the student.
They did, the Educational Support Services
Educational
building.
Support Services
They
building.
did that building, yes.
Let me say something. Most of the people I know here in this ward, Visalia, they look at him not as the company. They look at the individual. So,
They look at what individual?
Joey Mackey Jr., as he is the problem, not the company.
All right, moving on to the change order here. Kenneth, can you move to the site plan? I think it's page 3. All right, yeah, zoom out a little bit. Thank you so much. So this change order here, during the preparation of the student union plans that we were putting together with Teeter Architects, and during the construction of the Promenade project, which is the current phase that's under construction out there, we realized that there was a little snag in the sequencing. So that lighter red line that kind of runs through, well, the blue dashed outline, that's the outline of the proposed student union building, currently located where the Cedar building used to be, just south of the cafeteria of the Alta Peak building. We have that lighter shaded red line that's dashed. That is the existing primary electrical that runs through there for much of the campus. And we realized in order to expedite the construction of the student union project that's coming up here in a few months, it would be best if we performed this scope of work, relocated right now in this project versus later. So we'll end up saving about, I wouldn't doubt it, a good month and a half to 2 months of construction, just because we would perform this work earlier than later. We'd also save probably a couple bucks since we already have subcontractors on site that are familiar with the work. So that's what this change order is for. We got a cost from the current contractor, Fork and Mackey. They have two primary subs involved, Todd Companies, who's the plumbing company. They do all the trenching. And then we have Contra Costa Electric, which is the electrical subcontractor. So $292,026.82, and additional 45 days to perform all the work, sequencing of it. So that's what we're proposing for the board to approve tonight, change order A.
Byron, is
Yes.
this part of the bond funds?
Absolutely. Yep. The work would have been performed in phase 3. We're just moving into phase 1 to expedite the process.
I would move for approval of the change order, whatever number it is.
A.
Pardon me?
A.
A.
Letter A.
Second.
I have a motion from trustee Nunez, a second by trustee Sherman. Any discussion?
Just one clarification. Did I read in here, there was one of the other places, that it's not a net increase, it's simply a moving forward?
Correct.
Of the
That
dollars?
same scope of work would have
Yeah.
been bid 6 months from now, performed 8 months from now. So the cost probably could have been actually more. So it's a wise move.
Dr. Calvin, you alluded to it, but you mentioned the legality of the requirement. Can you elaborate that this is how it operates for us to select the lowest bidder?
This is an existing contract, and so we have the prerogative to increase or decrease. There are also negative change orders. If a contractor says, well, we don't need to do this, we can take it out of their contract. So yeah, this really has no bearing on that previous conversation. We have a contract with Fork and Mackey, and duly enforceable. And this is our prerogative to shift something from phase 3 into this to A, save money, and B, save time later on.
Now, the primary reason we take this to the board is because it exceeds the 10% of the contract amount, which by public contract code requires you to give board approval.
So we have a motion by trustee Nunez, second by trustee Sherman. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no.
I abstain.
And one abstention.
I abstain because I feel, because of what Ms. Kane brought up to light. And while I do agree with, Dr. Kelvin, being in a predicament, I do feel that it's important to, as an educational institution, to have those standards and stand by those. And also, I just feel I do not have enough information to have a vote, to make a vote with confidence.
We have 4 yeas and 1 abstention. Looking at them. Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, bid award, University Center, Mr. Woods.
All right, this is a long time coming. This is phase 2. So as you'll recall, Measure C, phase 1 is the promenade currently under construction. So all the site work and primary infrastructure associated with Shady Avenue, Meadow Lane. Everything's going very well with the promenade project, looking to finish here at the end of April. And phase 2 is the University Center, which will be the 2-story structure that will be constructed on the corner of Moody Boulevard and Tulare Avenue. And then phase 3, of course, Student Union, that'll follow a few months later. the new student union, bookstore, cafeteria, food services, et cetera. So very exciting. So we, in December, the University Center bid documents were published to the public, and we opened bids on February 19th. We had 10 bids. The bid opening took place right here in the boardroom, and all the seats were just about full. It's the biggest turnout I've ever been a part of, but a very exciting time. And at the time of the bid opening, as you can go to the bid tab, please. At the time of the bid opening, so there's the 10 bids. Oral E. Mitchum Incorporated out of Woodlake was the apparent low bidder with a bid of $33,574,000. So they were the apparent low at the time, and the high was $44 million. So there's about a $10 million range between the two. Pro West Constructors they're out of Los Angeles. I mean, that's what we've kind of seen typically is the out-of-area contractors will be a little bit higher. That was quite a bit higher. But the fact is, when you take bidders 1 through 9 right there and you average them, they are very close to the 36, 37 million marks. We felt very good about the numbers as a whole. Oral E. Mitchum, they were the apparent low bidder. I had a few phone calls with them in the next 24 hours after the bid opening, a few conversations, and they ultimately, they had forgot a few components of the scope of work in their contract, and they asked to withdraw their bid. We granted that, and as a result, the new updated apparent low bidder was in fact Fork and Mackey Construction. You can see their base bid right there is $35,385,000. I think within 24 hours of that, we had a bid protest received from David A. Bush Incorporated, protesting the accuracy and completeness of the subcontractors list that Fork and Mackey provided. We analyzed all 6 of the assertions that were introduced by David A. Bush and provided a response to them, and they said the matter was closed. The clarification that we gave them was, in fact, enough to close the matter. So as a result...
They withdrew their...
They withdrew their protest, correct, thank you. And as a result, we have Fork and Mackey Construction as the apparent low bidder, and they are being forwarded to the board tonight for contract approval in the amount of $35,385,000. The, again, University Center project funded entirely by Measure C funds, and we are looking at construction starting here in end of April and wrapping up in March of 28. So very exciting. Any questions that I may answer? Yes?
So first of all, I want to say I'm very excited about this project moving forward. I know it's going to provide a lot of opportunities for students. Do we have any policies in place that require like a certain percentage of minority or women-owned contractors or subcontractors to be involved in the capital projects such as this?
To my knowledge, we do not have any policies in place for that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Now, the bonding is not an issue with these guys?
Nope, they're fully bonded. Yep.
Okay, because I know there was certain times that you could have bumped up against it, so.
Correct, yes, and that's why in closing here is the full bid proposal for your review. That is also shared with all of the other contractors involved if they request it. And so they do have a complete package responsive bid. Checked all the boxes. Yeah, great questions.
Any additional questions?
Byron, what would our options be if we had an issue, and I understand the explanation, but if we were ever mind that a certain individual's allegation would cast a shadow or some legal issue, which I think it's been explained to me that the legal issue would be if we didn't go with the low bidder, but what would our options be in a case like that? Do we even know?
I do not know if we made that decision right now, but there's also hypothetically, if something were to happen during construction, the bonding company would take over and would coordinate us. They would put us in touch with a new contractor, and we would complete the projects with the existing subcontractors. Right. So you got to remember, they are a general contractor, and all of the trades are underneath them. They don't self-perform any trades at all. So majority of the work is going to be performed by subcontractors. They are bonded as well, et cetera.
And there's about $1 million difference between them and the third highest. the third
Yeah,
lowest.
700,000, 650,000.
Yeah.
And again, doing it now would lead us into undoubtedly a lawsuit.
Oh, of course.
And it's, I don't think any of us have a problem with trustee Diaz abstaining on the last one or this one, but in reality, it's only because we have 4 members that won't abstain, because not following through and awarding it would undoubtedly pull us into a lawsuit, and we've got 3 years to spend 85% of our bond proceeds on the university center. So it gets pretty mucky pretty quick on this. I understand Ms. Kane's comments and Trustee Diaz's reluctance to approve. I really do, but this is just part of public construction where occasionally entities like us get pinched a little bit, and ultimately, if there's a failure to perform for whatever reason, including this legal side of this, we have a bonding company that will step in and finish the project with those same subs.
I actually have some personal experience with this government program that caused some of these issues. It was called employee retention credits, and there was some subjective, there was some objective calculations to see if you qualified for the program, and there were some subjective other items that could come into play if you didn't necessarily qualify under the objective calculations. And there were a lot of firms throughout, the CPA firms got involved in this, and our firm, the firm that I was employed with and a partner with, we did a lot of these objective calculations based on revenue, loss to revenue, employees, and so forth. And if they met that criteria, we filed the claim with the government. If they didn't meet those, there were hundreds of illicit companies out there telling them that they could qualify them under other means. And so I think we ended up losing clients because of the fact that we would not do that for them. And they would go to these companies and they would take 30% of whatever fee of whatever grant the government gave them as their fee for filing the claim. So this has been a boondoggle from the start. And so it's unfortunate that this individual got caught up in this, but it's one person out of a large company, and to penalize them for something that's been alleged and not, at this point, it's been charges, not some conviction that would take
I move, Mr. President, I move that we approve Fort Combahee for the University Center, the $35+ million contract.
Motion by Trustee Sherman, a second by Trustee Lane. Any additional discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Any abstentions? One abstention, okay. So it's 4-1. We have decided to table item 14, as mentioned previously, and it was determined that we will ask the candidates to, or the applicants to return on March 17th. Between now and then, and 72 hours before, additional information will be available to the public to review. And we look forward to having that meeting on that date, approximately 5:30. With that, we'll move on to the next item, future agenda items. And item 16, consider issuing proclamations for Black History Month Women's History Month and LGBTQ History Month. The recommended action is to direct staff to add to future agendas or take no action. It was submitted by Trustee Diaz.
Trustee Diaz, do you want to comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to correct his item number 15, mentioned
Oh, I'm sorry.
number 16.
I'm sorry,
So
15.
just a little
Yes.
bit.
Thank you.
So board members, this is an item that I requested last month to be added to today's agenda. I would like your support to formally place this on a future agenda to discuss and take possible action, and formally declaring the month of February in honor of Black History Month, the month of March as Women's History Month, and October is LGBTQ History Month. I think it's important to recognize and celebrate and honor the diverse communities that make our college great. And so I would appreciate your support in placing this discussion on the future agenda.
If I may, I don't, what I want to make clear is that proclamation or not, we celebrate these. And so I just want all the board members to know that. Proclamation may do even more, but we heard from our amend president and vice president the last couple of years, and we know how much is done there. And so we do a number of things. I mean, even our basketball teams wore either Black History Month shooting shirts the last month, or Women's History Month the last, just one of those things, social media and so forth. And so I think the conversation should kind of boil down to what more does the proclamation do? And if it does more than what we're already doing on social media, then I'd be in favor of it. And I just want the board members to know kind of my feelings on it, that we're doing a lot. If we think that proclamations will do more, then let's include it in a future agenda item and either approve or disapprove there. I guess my only concern maybe is that we follow the chancellor's office lead on much of this. And so we've been celebrating these particular months for some time. My only concern maybe down the road is if a board member, it may not even be any of you, but a board member may have their own personal political agenda and want to pull in something that's maybe not on the chancellor's list of approved things. And then you have one board member bringing something that could be conceivably a lightning rod for controversy, and that's just not something that this board has ever, wanted any part of. If somebody tried to bring in a real controversial topic or a month to celebrate that wasn't on the chancellor's office, just for the shock appeal and fill the boardroom and all that kind of stuff, I'd be concerned about that, because what we try to spend our time doing is keeping the main thing. And that's frankly why we've been able to do so much over the last 10 years. And you don't have to look very far in our system to find community colleges that are nearly bankrupt, or they're stuck in the muck of internal fighting for political reasons. And so these are awesome. We've demonstrated our support for these and many, many others. I just want to make sure that we don't set a precedent for a future board or a future board member to use this well-intentioned effort for evil, if you will. That's my only hesitation here. I feel like we do a good job of celebrating these groups without a proclamation, but if we're just specifically going to issue proclamations for this without any future promises to do so, then I'm fine to not only include it as a future agenda item, but to approve it later on.
Okay, well, I understand the request, and I understand the concern, and I would even say that there's some that would consider, some of these controversial. I don't particularly do, and I don't think most of us do, but, and I have no opposition to adding it to a future agenda, and if it takes proclamation for these, I think hopefully we're all intelligent enough not to get drug into political issues. But so I would support that. item 15.
I agree with you, Dr. Kelvin. The college does a lot, and I've been out there, during Black History Month to the table and all of that. And I think this would just, take it just one step further in terms of just formally recognize it. And I think, especially without going into the political or making this a political conversation, I think sometimes some of these communities feel appreciated when they feel recognized, especially in a formal way.
Yesterday was Women's Day, right? Was it
International
yesterday?
Women's Day.
Women's Day, yes.
And I think that while the groups certainly, appreciate being recognized, from my opinion, my perspective, we're already recognizing them. And I'm curious as to whether those groups that we're purporting to recognize are requesting this action of the board. I mean, I agree with keeping the main thing the main thing. I mean, we're an educational institution. Yes, we're educating individuals, and those individuals have differences. There's no question about that. I think we value that. I think 1,000 ways you can look at the contributions of this institution toward valuing those differences. And for me, that speaks much louder. I mean, any city council, any board of supervisors, any state or federal government can pass a proclamation, but what happens to you? What do you do with that, right? I think we've already done the what do you do with it before the proclamation, and so I'm not sure what value that results in. That's my thoughts.
For me, it's just making it just a formality, that is all.
Right, and I think we're opening that door, for individuals to bring forward things that may not be quite as universally accepted. It's a slippery slope.
Okay, so I think I'm sorry, I don't mean to take over the meeting.
President Nunes, you have comment?
I'm done, yeah.
This time I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move
I second that.
Motion by.
Move for what?
to item 15, to bring it back for a formal agenda item, right? Isn't that what we're doing?
Yes.
So we would beat this up again, I guess.
Motion by trustee Nunes, seconded by trustee Diaz. All in favor, say aye.
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 I don't know how I should vote because I won't be here for that board meeting, so.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter?
You
Aye.
can however you want.
All opposed, say no.
No.
No. Vote, motion carries 4-1. Next item, consider having a staff presentation on providing health benefits for part-time faculty. Recommended action is direct staff to add to a future agenda or take no action, submitted by trustee Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So again, board members, this is another item I requested last month to be added to today's agenda. I would like to emphasize this is a discussion only. I would like your support to formally place this on a future agenda to discuss and take possible action on directing the superintendent to prepare a staff report on an agenda item at a future board meeting, which would provide the board with an updated research and information on the options, costs, sources of revenue, barriers, and opportunities for COS to consider offering healthcare coverage to part-time faculty. The staff report should include the types of state grants, revenues available that could help offset any costs, including access to funds available through SB 154 and AB 190, and how the California Part-Time Faculty Community College Health Insurance program could assist with this opportunity. The updated fact-based information provided by staff will give the board an excellent opportunity for a robust, informative, and productive discussion on whether COS should offer this important health coverage to our faculty, part-time faculty, when contract negotiations come up. Given the national changes and ongoing uncertainties surrounding health insurance that many Americans, including our part-time faculty, are facing, this is an appropriate and timely discussion. Healthcare remains a critical safety net in our community, and it's worth our time to revisit whether offering this benefit is feasible. I want to make it clear again that I am not asking for the board to reopen any contract negotiations. Let me repeat that. I am not asking for the board to reopen any contract negotiations, but to take into account changes at the national level that could make it difficult for a limited amount of our staff to have access to health care. I find it concerning, and I found it very bothersome and a little bit embarrassing the last time I heard Mr. Charles mention that some of our staff have to rely on Medi-Cal for their health care access. And so I would appreciate your support in placing this discussion on a future agenda.
Okay, any additional comments?
I would say that it is a point of contract negotiations, and, you know, for anybody to say that it's not to renegotiate is interesting, because it is. If, you know, we have already had the educational information provided to the board prior to Mr. Diaz coming onto this board. It's not as though the board is not informed. The board was fully informed at the point in time. It was a point of contract negotiations. I'm not saying I'm in favor of it or not or in favor of it. What I'm saying is that it's a point of negotiation, and that does not belong here in the public discussion. It just,
As an example, I think the thing that makes me uncomfortable about it is there are certain things that probably belong in a robust conversation that we as a district, including you, Trustee Diaz, are not allowed to have in public away from the table. It's pertinent information that I think our unions would feel like is a direct dealing with their members. It's not just about what the cost or the reimbursement would be, but there were reasons that those negotiations broke down, and it wasn't necessarily the cost and or reimbursement process. And I can tell you, again, we talked about it in closed session last month as a negotiable item, just so you'd be more aware of it, and we can have that conversation again. It's just for us to have a truly robust conversation about why we haven't chosen to do that. I'd be sharing information that we all have to keep away, in a closed session. You represent the district just like I do. As much as you have a heart for unions, there are things that we haven't and would discuss in closed session. So, am I worried about, or am I concerned about just having a rehash in a public setting about the cost of reimbursement? No, but there's more to the story that I won't be able to share, and it won't be a truly robust conversation because I won't be able to share information as to why our negotiations broke down.
Dr. Calvin, we naturally will enter into these conversations again in the near future during negotiations.
Yeah, well, yes, we're slated to begin negotiations as of next spring, probably about this time, a year from now. It would probably be more timely, even if I can't share everything about what I just said. If we were going to do this, the time would be early next spring as we head into negotiation season.
Any additional comments?
Yeah, I'm perfectly happy to have this discussion in the proper time and context. I think it's something that that came up during the last negotiation. I think this is part of the bargaining process, and I think that's where I'm comfortable keeping it. I'm perfectly open to having all that information at that time and coming to a decision. I think this is what I reiterated at the last meeting.
With that, I will entertain a motion.
I'd move not to bring this item forward for a future agenda item, but to bring it forward in closed session during the negotiation process or before.
Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second.
It has been motioned by trustee Lane, seconded by trustee Nunes. All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries 4-1 to not, at this time, consider having a staff presentation.
Thank you for your consideration.
If I may, this future agenda items is new, obviously. Trustee Diaz and actually Jose Segala forwarded this as a potential for this type of thing. And I understand it can get a little awkward, but are we good for kind of using this format for future endeavors like this? Okay, thank you.
Well, with that, I want to thank everyone for your patience in joining us today. Eventful meeting. Look, very excited about the future of COS and all the things that are not only the University Center, but possibly a new trustee. And look forward to seeing you guys all very soon. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Actually submit another memo.
Okay.
You said, okay.
You keep me busy, aren't you?